You absolutely have to have relationships or you won't have client retention. We've got a lot of clients that we've had for well over a decade. I mean, you won't have client retention if you don't build those relationships and grow with your clients. I mean, he was the wrong person because he was the dreamer, not the doer. I'm a doer. I'm a get shit done kind of person. I mean, number one, obviously consistency, and you hear that a lot. It's not a cliche because it's simply true. It's anything in life. If you consistently work out, you're probably going to have better abs or whatever.
Okay, today we have Brandis Kelly on the show. She's president of DigeTekS, very successful MSP, headquartered in Colorado with a footprint, though, across the country. Brandis was also a finalist at our Technology Marketing Toolkit's annual Better Your Best contest. This contest highlights the top members in our TMT community that have executed sales and marketing strategies that have significantly moved the needle in their key financial metrics. Brandis, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
So let's start with going back in time a little. Like, how did you end up getting involved in the MSP world?
So in 2013, I had a close friend come to me, and he needed help with organizational structure. Honestly, leadership. He had a team of 5 at the time, and he was an MSP in Kansas. And so I'm like, okay, sure. I mean, I could help, herd the cats. And so I came on board, and within like 6 months, I was VP of his MSP. And then we went to merge with another MSP in Wichita, my previous company of 8 years. And again, I was actually pimped out a little bit to help again with their organizational structure and leadership. And I just kind of rose pretty quickly. Ended up being president, and that kind of brought me here. We joined TMT in 2018. Technically, sent the wrong person initially, like so many people do, and then I ended up going in 2019 and actually taking the steps to implement, because I was, dead set that it was either going to work or not going to work. But either way, I was going to prove or disprove that any of it worked. So that's kind of how that all came to be. Yeah, you can have a dreamer, but you also have to have a doer. Yeah. You can't just send the person who's got great ideas and then you don't have anybody to actually implement, because at the end of the day, I mean, how many times have you heard, like, it works if you work it? If you got to do the work. So you also have to have that buy-in, and it is not the same attending any TMT event. That year was a boot camp actually that I went, but it is not the same attending virtually. It's just simply not. The energy, the vibe, the conversations, meeting people, just experiencing the entire event. So we went together the following year, but I mean, he was the wrong person because he was the dreamer, not the doer. I'm a doer. I'm a get shit done kind of person. And you need to have that there as well.
That makes sense. What would you say some of the biggest challenges you faced, in the early stages of where you're working now at DigeTekS, getting that kind of marketing running?
Yeah, so you really need a dedicated marketing person, and if you don't have one, it's you, right? And again, you've got to be the one that does it. I certainly did that for my previous company because we didn't have anybody. And then ultimately in 2020, so a year after, I had attended boot camp, we hired the best marketing admin in all the land. She's still with me today, Brayla, actually. And she was also a doer, great work ethic, knew nothing about marketing. And I don't think you necessarily have to know anything about marketing, because everything that you need to know, you learn. I wasn't a, marketer back in the day, right? I am now. I would absolutely consider myself that, as any person, heading up an MSP and steering that ship and driving that charge should. So having someone dedicated, having owner buy-in is just insanely critical, because there are some things that may not make sense because it's not an instant ROI all the time, right? Direct mail marketing is a great example of that. Anytime you send direct mail, like you don't get to send out 5, duck in a box little campaigns and expect 5 leads and 5 clients. Like that's just not the way it works. So you have to have consistency. You have to have someone who's willing to get told no on the phone, be able to handle that rejection and thank you, may I have another, and keep going. And so I think owner buy-in, I think having someone in marketing, or you are doing it and you have to dedicate the time, even though you don't want to make those phone calls. I also would actually advise that any owner, C-suite even, like kind of goes through the process of some of this stuff.
Yeah.
Because it's so much easier to understand if you've done it. I've done it. I've done all of it, start to finish. I hand wrote on envelopes and licked them. I mean, oh my God, like I've done it. And so then you understand what you're looking for when you're hiring. Then the quality of person that you're after, and the characteristics and the personality traits even that you're looking for in hiring somebody.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit more about that, about just building and scaling your team. I mean, clearly you need the best marketing admin in all the land. Any tips around that, or things that you saw, or things you'd recommend?
We've hired several since then, and also make no mistake, when I first came on board with DigeTekS, which was just a couple years ago, Stephanie was our marketing person at the time, but she wasn't dedicated. We talk about that dedicated marketing person, and I don't truly believe she had full owner buy-in, which again, that was a problem, but she was doing the absolute best she could with what she was given. So she's also fantastic. But when we went to actually hire more people, hire SDRs, hire, somebody to help out with list scrubbing or more marketing admin type roles, type things, when, Brayla or Stephanie, they're moving on to different things in the marketing, in our entire marketing department. I was looking for someone who I have an avatar. Just, when you have an avatar for a client, what's your ideal client, your target market client, your avatar? I had an avatar, and I reached out to Missy Vega, a friend of mine, awesome gal, and she said, here's where you should go look. And this was Facebook groups, like moms groups and yoga studios and church groups. And I have had wicked success in that, because I wanted someone part-time, kind of in a try before you buy scenario, right? Maybe we don't put them on full-time right off the bat, full benefits and everything. Let's do part-time. Maybe they're a stay-at-home mom. Maybe they, just want to contribute. I don't know. Maybe they're a trophy wife and want to contribute just a little bit to the household income. I don't know. They want to feel some sort of, like they're contributing. They have this value, that a purpose, and that has worked well for us. Actually, Brayla started out that way as well, but yeah, and then full time. Hey, you're amazing. Keep going, because at the end of the day, even if you hire someone, this has happened several times now. If you hire someone that's great in their role, even as a appointment setter, even as someone helping with list building and scrubbing and those types of roles that are just tedious and sometimes annoying, if they're great, they don't stay there.
Yeah.
They're going to move up in that ladder, and that's okay. That's how you build a team. And now they know what it takes, just like I knew what it takes when I was looking for that. So now they can help to hire. They can do those interviews, and that's off my plate.
What's next on your goals for this business? I mean, short term, midterm, what are you looking to accomplish?
Keeping going. We're building our team and still growing geographically. So we're looking at adding yet another state this year, and continuing in the 3 states we added last year. We've joined chambers and are growing in those areas. Also hiring, growing our team, maintaining amazing profitability. That's one thing to be super proud of. So that's always on you've got to still be making money doing it. Consistency and cutting out cocktail napkin bullshit handshake deals, like having everybody kind of more in line, and moving forward in the same direction. Cross-training, lots of cross-trainings, getting rid of that power of one. That is that's a killer in a business. So those are kind of like on the forefront of our of our minds now, and what we're implementing this year. Yeah. Lots of that.
Sounds exciting, actually. I guess you got to like find a lot of guys in basements with cats if you're going to keep expanding to all those.
It should be an interview question.
Yeah.
You can still like dogs, but if somebody says I'm a cat person, I'm like, there you go.
See,
that's it.
I'm digging out the real gems now. Linux servers. Yep. That's awesome. If you could go back in time, what advice would you give your younger self starting out, getting into all this?
I would say, like, be you. I mean, Dave Rendell obviously has some amazing presentations and podcasts on leaning into what some would consider a weakness, leaning into that. And that has had a big impact on me. Be yourself and just, keep going, just keep swimming like Dory. Because at the end of the day, like you're not going to be everybody's cup of tea. God knows I am not. There are some people that are just like, whoa, to me. And I have actually kept this particular interview a little mild. Compared to, right? Yeah. But that's okay. That's okay. There's how many other billion people, on this planet. It's okay. Thank you. Next. Move on.
Yeah.
That would be my advice.
I've got one more question for you. So the kind of the theme of this podcast is to get my first million, either my first million in revenue or first million. I know you, as we mentioned before, you crossed over that first million in profit and EBITDA. Is there any one particular thing that stands out as a mindset or a strategy or a lesson that you think helped you get across that line into that first million of profit that you would share? Yeah.
Well, knowing your actual margins is helpful, because you're able to co-manage opportunities are also extremely profitable, but you've got to know your margins on that. Got to be able to pick and choose what people want and then charge correctly for it. I would also say that an important fact, like even of our team, and so this is like a huge core value of mine, is Richard Branson's, I'm paraphrasing, train them well enough they can go anywhere, treat them well enough they don't want to, right? When it comes to your team. Now, I mean, we're not paying our team like millions and millions of dollars. I mean, I feel like we pay well, right? But we also have a lot of amazing benefits, and we treat them well. We listen to them. We actually take action, and we help to keep our team together. We have longevity and even tenure to a degree. And I think that goes a long way with client retention. So they're not, constantly having to talk to somebody new all the time. We know their environment, because we have a lot of long-term clients as well. So I think your team is everything. So I would say there's no way you can probably get to $1 million without a good team, and you can't make $1 million in profit without a good team. So I would hone in on your team and focus on your team and treat them like real people and listen to what they say. Take the feedback. You don't have to do everything, but you actually listen and implement. And you're not, I mean, again, even if you're running the place, even if you're the owner, you don't know everything. You have to be learning. Then you learn from your team.
Excellent advice. Well, I really appreciate you taking the time to talk and share your experiences. I mean, I had a lot of fun. I hope you had some fun. And
always.
I hope we get to do this again sometime.
Excellent.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Take care.
Hey, thank you for listening to this episode of the MSP Success Podcast. If you found this valuable, please subscribe and leave a comment. You can also subscribe to our free MSP Success magazine and get more IT business resources at mspsuccess.com.